Welcome back to Adrian's Avenue, and on this channel we give you information to help you make better decisions for a better life, because I truly believe that your daily decisions determines your destiny. And let me ask you, have you ever wondered why, if you hear about movie stars, if you hear about athletes, if you hear about lottery winners that have millions and millions of dollars, and then the next thing you know they're broke, or they're behind on taxes, or something is going on and the money is gone? It's just like it vanished into thin air. Have you ever wondered why millionaires go broke? Well, we're going to talk about that next, so stay tuned. How does a person with so much money go broke? You have millions and millions of dollars, however, next thing you know, you're broke. How does this happen? Well, one thing that you want to consider is lifestyle inflation. When people have that much money come in and they don't exactly know what to do with it, they start thinking of things. They want to upgrade this, upgrade that, upgrade the house, upgrade the cars, upgrade the vacations. We have lots of money. It's coming in. Let's just spend it. So they spend with this upgrade, and they overspend as far as whatever money they have coming in. And then the next thing you know, the money either is not coming in like it used to, or they've blown so much money until now they're getting behind on payments and behind on things. But this is a real thing. Just think of when you get a raise, you probably upgrade a little bit. You don't, every raise you get, you don't just start saving that money and socking it away. You think of things that, oh, I could do this with that, or I could do this more with that, or I could do that with this, because the money is coming in and it's a little more money than you've had before. But we don't put limits on ourselves when it comes to that, or maybe spend some and save some. But that's the way the millionaires think. Lots of money coming in. Let's live it up, right? We only have one life, so let's live it up to the fullest. That's one way that you can go broke as a millionaire. The second way we will discuss is financial literacy. Most of these people, most of these millionaires, athletes, whatever, if they've not had the training in finances, if they've not known how to handle a little bit of money when they were working or doing whatever they were doing before they got the riches, they probably won't be able to handle or manage the money when they get the money coming in. Because management of money is not only just managing what you have coming in, but what you have coming in, making it grow. That is really management of money. Living, but then making some of it grow also. And if they've not been trained in this area, and if they don't have people around them that they can trust, actually trust, that's watching out for their best interest, you know, they can become broke really, really quickly, because the money is just doing everything. Because if you don't know how to manage your money, there are several hundred other people that know how to take that money from you and do other things with it. So becoming financially literate yourself, sitting down with your tax person, sitting down with your accountant, sitting down with the people that are handling your money, and understanding what they're doing, what they're saying as the money is being handled. Make sure you understand what's going on, because there are some that's been robbed by some accountants and people over them, because they didn't understand the taxes and everything. They didn't understand all this. And so they said that they were doing the right thing with it. Next thing you know, they don't have the money and they're broke. So financial literacy is so important, whether you have a small amount of money or whether you have millions. Next up, we have failing to pay taxes. You all, whatever money you make, you're going to have to pay taxes on it. If you make the money, there's going to be taxes due. Now, there's deductions that you can take on your taxes, and there's tax credits and all of this. But at some point in time, when it comes down to it, once all the deductions are taken and, the tax credits are given, there's some money that you're going to have to pay taxes on it. So don't think because you have $1 million coming in that whole $1 million you're going to be able to spend. Even folks that are in business, we know that a certain amount of money you make, you have expenses coming out of that money. You have taxes coming out of that money. You have employment taxes coming out. There are all kinds of taxes coming out of that money that you're making. So because you make $100, doesn't mean you're going to keep $100. And then once you get the $100, if you have 60% of it left for your discretionary income, then you have to do something with that to make it make more money for you. But believe me, the federal government is going to get their share of the money that you're making. So don't think because you have a large amount coming in that it's all yours. And people, they don't necessarily forget about taxes, but they start to spending. Next thing you know, I don't have enough money to pay taxes. We've heard of stories of millionaires. We've heard of stories of actors, athletes, all these kind of people not having the money to pay taxes. And you think if they had $1 million, why didn't they have enough money to pay taxes? Well, that's why. They didn't think about the taxes. They were thinking about spending. You know, they pay various people. You have to pay your accountant, your staff, your security. You got to pay all these people. So $1 million seems like a lot until you start shelling out the money for all these expenses that you owe, and then those taxes that you have to pay. So let's not forget about the taxes, because that's one thing that you're not going to get away from. If you owe the taxes, you're going to have to pay it one way or other, and you may have to start selling stuff if you're a millionaire to pay off these taxes. But don't forget the taxes, because that's one way to become broke. Now, before I go any further, I want you to hit that like button and that subscribe button so that you can stay up to date on the latest information as it becomes available to you, because I want you to be informed on all these things. So when you get that $1 million, you'll know exactly what to do with it, and you won't be one of the ones in that number of a millionaire that became broke. Next up, we have the generosity thing. It's great to be generous, but when you become millionaires or rich, or people know that you're getting good money, athletes, actors, you're going to have folks coming out the woodwork claiming to be your cousin, your friend, your this, your that relative, and they're going to need money. They're going to be asking for money. And if you just give money to everybody that's asking for money, you're going to go broke. There are some actors and athletes back in the day that they have had these large crews. I can think of one rapper in particular. He had all these people around him, large crews of people that he was taking care of. He was giving money to, he was throwing parties, and he had the millions coming in, but it ran out because of, when you have 20 people, 25 people around you that are expecting to get paid because that's your crew. They show up everywhere. You got to fly them out everywhere or drive them out everywhere, take them on a bus, get extra buses to have all these people. And then if you have a whole bunch of other people performing with you on the stage, that's a lot. And so when you're becoming generous with people around you just asking for money, and some of them have the nerve to get mad when you tell them, no, I'm not going to give you any money. If I'm working for it, other people need to go out and work for it also. But this can happen to you. And if you're focused on being too generous with too many people, where were they when you didn't have money? That's my question, is where were they when you didn't have any money? You have to be wise. Use wisdom when it comes to this. Sometimes giving people money is not the answer. That's not going to help them. That is pretty much enabling them to, be in a worse situation, or kind of feeding on you to support their habits or their lifestyle or whatever it is that they're going through. You're not responsible for everybody. You're not God, so you're not responsible for everybody. Use the wisdom that God gave you to use when it comes to your money, and help people in the right way. So it could be sending them to some type of program to help them get a better job, or just give them another lead somewhere else to help them. But it may not be writing checks or giving cash all the time to help people. So take this in consideration, and don't become broke behind too much generosity for folks that's just feeding after your money. Next up, we have over-leveraging. Now, this happened back in 2007, 2008, when people lost their homes and they were mad at the banks for lending them the money, knowing that they couldn't afford all this stuff. Some people were millionaires because they had so much property. And so on a sheet of paper, yes, they were millionaires because they had, $3 million worth of property, but they had $2.5 million worth of debt. And so when the bank started calling these, they were over leveraged. That's why they lost the property like they did. It wasn't because of, you can blame it on whoever you want to, but when you start putting your name to all of these rental properties or whatever it is, and you don't have the money to pay them off, anything could happen. Tenants move out, things happen. The banks can always call the loan due. And if they call the loan due and you don't have the money, guess what? You're going to lose that property. So let's not go over leverage ourselves and then try to blame it on something else. It happened to Dave Ramsey, and he will tell you he was over leveraged. He bought a whole bunch of stuff and he didn't have the money. So when the bank called on those properties, he didn't have the money to pay for, give the bank the loans that they were calling on. So he started losing and going bankrupt and that type of thing. So he couldn't blame the bank for that. He's the one who over leveraged himself. So let's be careful about buying too much and having too many loans out, where if something were to happen, you didn't have enough assets to sell off some of it, maybe to pay some more of it down, and you just lose everything. I don't want anybody to lose everything. But when you over leverage, whether it's that or anything else, some people bought a bunch of cars to do, the renting of the cars out. And they just kept buying cars, but they had car notes on all of these cars. And so when, the renting of the cars kind of died down, then they had these car notes that they hadn't paid down, high notes. Yeah, they were making good money and making the payments on them. But then when, the fleet got kind of cut and people weren't riding like that anymore, they have all these car notes. And could they sell them? Probably not for the price that they bought them for. So they were underwater on some of these cars. So we have to watch and make sure we're not getting too deep in the waters that we can't swim up out of that. But this is a good way of going broke and maybe filing bankruptcy when you over leverage yourself. So let's be careful with that. Last but not least, and this is the most common one, you all, is your habits. If you do not have good habits before you get the millions, you won't have good habits after you get the millions. So the thing to do is whatever money you're making right now before you become that big millionaire, before you become that big athlete, that big star, to make sure you have good money habits. What are you doing with your money right now? Because whatever it is, when you start getting more, you're just going to expand the person that you are already. So make sure you have those good habits going into this, because if pouring more money or giving more money to some person, because most people think that I can get out of this, all I need is to make more money, or all I need is just a windfall to come on me and I can get up out of this. No, you can't. It's about a mindset. It's about a discipline. And if you don't have that before you get the money, your money is not going to solve that problem of being undisciplined and not knowing how to manage your money. You need to get that up under your belt first before you go into the millions. And sometimes God is smart enough to keep us from getting those large sums of money because we don't know how to handle what we already have, So to whom much is given, much is expected. So we have to know how to handle the little that we have. And that way you get rewarded with more and more and more, because he knows if you can be a good steward over this small amount, you can be a great steward over a larger amount. So let's not fool ourselves. Start with the basics. Go back over some of my videos and let's learn how to handle and manage the money, be good stewards over a small amount of money. And then when the big money comes in, we'll be just fine. We won't have to worry about half of the stuff that I talked about. You won't be a broke millionaire. You will be a millionaire helping others, because we are blessed, whether it's millions or anything else, we're blessed to bless other people. We're not blessed just to live a lavish life and that's it. What we do, the good works we do and the good things that happen to us, we need to bless other folks with that. So just know that and keep that in mind. Get those good habits, those money habits down, and you will be just fine when the millions start rolling in. As we can see, the millions is not about the money. It's about the mindset. It's about the strategy. It's about the financial literacy that you have before you get those millions, because all of these people that I didn't name any names, but they did not have to go broke. Even lottery winners, people get money and you see them smiling and happy. And 3 to 5 years later, most of the lottery winners are dead broke. They're back to zero again because of some of the things that I've mentioned in the video. Let's not be those people. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to the lessons in some of the videos that I've given. Go back through and pick out the ones that you need to listen to. And make a comment down below if you're getting what I'm saying, because this is good information. And if some of these people would have gotten this information before they got the money, they would have done a much better job of managing and stewarding the money that they were given. And with that being said, I will see you in the next video.